Hey guys, this is Ramsey. Gonna do my I Want to Believe reading challenge. It was 2 books. You have a Alien Investigation and a First Contact book. So currently I've read Aliens Among Us by Ruth Montgomery. It was a frustrating book. Some of the stories in here were very interesting. She doesn't spend a whole lot of time actually giving you any scientific evidence. She doesn't give you any stories that I believe are true. I believe she has doctored things by using what she calls anonymous guides, who basically, when she writes to them, they write back, but she's never met them. She doesn't know who they are. These are unsubstantiated people who are her guides, who also have told her that the world is going to do an axis shift in the year 2000 and we're all going to die on the planet Earth. She's also told that the city of Atlantis was real and has sunk and turned into a bunch of different islands in the Atlantic Ocean. So these anonymous guides are very trustworthy. They know what they're talking about. But everything she tries to substantiate, she substantiates through these anonymous guides, which is very, very frustrating when you want to maybe get some scientific evidence, maybe when you want to learn something interesting about, could it be possible if aliens are here? I'm not saying I'm a believer. I'm not saying that I'm the biggest skeptic in the world either. If you asked me, if you said, hey, Ramsey, do aliens exist? I'd say probably not. But if you showed me Hubble you show me some evidence, I'm not going to deny it either. I'm going to go, okay, yeah, there we go. I believe it. I'm there. I'm on board here. So she doesn't talk about Area 51 at all that I found. I got a little frustrated about halfway through, and I started heavily skimming because basically it was a bunch of stories where she says, this person had an alien experience. This person had an alien. So you were kind of weeding through a bunch of alien experiences. She didn't have a whole lot of. She had no actual evidence, but she had a whole lot of hearsay. And so I was interested in. There were 2 cases that were actually really, really interesting. She had this theory that her guides gave her, the very good guides that we talked about earlier. One lady who could accurately predict earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Also, a half Cherokee, half American man who in World War II went into a coma and then became, all of a sudden, when he woke up from his coma, he believed he was a 77-year-old Russian surrealist artist and eventually gained his memories back. So those were 2 of her really big walk-in stories that she was kind of pushing off, that the guides have told me that these people are who they are. These people didn't believe they were aliens until they'd read one of Ruth's books, contacted Ruth. Ruth contacted her guides, and the guides said, yes, those people are aliens. So, but it just felt so predatory, where she's like, to write my story, to sell my books, I'm going to convince you that you're an alien. And it just didn't sit well with me. I got really frustrated with the idea that she, like the lady who could accurately predict earthquakes in California, she lived in Northern California, and she would get physically sick whenever she was having these predictions. So she would feel the ground rumble, or she would hear an audible noise. We're not 100% sure through the book, but she claimed it was an alien power. And it was interesting. She was accurately predicting earthquakes up to 80%. She accurately predicted Mount St. Helens eruption 12 hours before it actually happened. And she knew, she was like, look, Mount St. Helens is about to explode. You need to get people out of there. And if they'd listened to her, they probably could have saved hundreds of lives, maybe even thousands of lives. I don't know, how easily they could mobilize a city. That does sound pretty difficult. But and then the Russian surrealist artist, when he gained his memories back, he still was painting in the same style that man was painting. So it was interesting. But then they would contact Ruth and they'd say, hey, this is my story. And she'd contact the guides and she'd tell them, she's like, hey, you are an alien. My anonymous guides have told me that you're an alien. Believe me. Yeah, here we go. This is truth. Take it as the gospel. And that was just frustrating. It was hard for me to, after those 2 stories where she was convincing people they were aliens, I kind of gave up on her, and I skimmed about the last 100 pages. It's about 240 pages. I'd love for somebody to let me know. I'll ship it to you. You tell me your opinions on it. I want to know what other people are thinking about this book. Is Ruth a predator and just wanted to sell novels or wanted to sell books, or was she in any way right? A lot of times people remembered nothing about a alien abduction story, and she would send them to a hypnotist, and all of a sudden the hypnotist would draw their abduction story out. Where they didn't have one beforehand, they just had a weird moment in their lives, and then she would send them to a hypnotist, and then they had an alien abduction story that all of a sudden worked. But she sent them to her hypnotist. It felt predatory. It didn't feel like anything legitimate. She just wanted you to convinced that aliens were here and among us, and they circled the earth constantly, and they're here for our benefit because we're all going to die in the year 2000. I can't believe it. I went into this hoping to get some sort of legitimate something, and it all felt doctored and fake. So I want to let me know if anybody else has even come across this one, or if you'd like to read it, and I'll mail it to you, because I'd love to hear what you have to think about it. So let me know. Talk to you later. Sphere review coming next. Okay, so this is much later Ramsey. Finally finished the reading challenge. Sphere, I finished yesterday. It was amazing. The twists and turns were great. Oh man, like the way that he described everything and introduced us to the characters, introduced the science needed for them to live 1,000 feet underwater for days at a time. I mean, all of it was great. And he even did like this really funny world building where he gave us basically an info dump, and the main character who we're in their first person perspective, he falls asleep. So it's like even the science was boring him, so he just kind of glazed over it for us by our main character having a nap during the safety briefing, right? I mean, there's so many great ways that he tied things into this book. Talked about our reactions when we meet an alien species, our the way that we would handle living underwater with that fear, group dynamic psychology. This book is amazing. If you haven't read it, read it. Like, I want to go watch the movie again now because I just had such a fun time with this. The characters are all great. You learn mostly about three of them. You spend the most time with three of the main characters. But, oh my gosh. Oh, man. It was so much fun. He packs a huge punch in the idea of what we could meet, what would happen. Just a great thought experiment. I had so much fun reading this book. Once I got into it, I mean, like 20 pages in, I couldn't put it down. Like, the only reason I did is because I buddy read it with Brad. And so I got to a certain point. I got to about this point, and I stopped because something big happened. Something real big happened. And I was like, I got to talk to Brad about this. I got to talk to him. It was so great. So, and then flew through to like page 300, and then I took a break and I tried to wait on Brad, and then I just couldn't. I tore through this book. It was so much fun. Oh man, if you guys have not read Michael Crichton, this is my first Michael Crichton book, and I can't wait. I have Jurassic Park and The Lost World over there, and I have Timeline. I've seen Timeline, I've seen Jurassic Park, and I've seen Jurassic World. I've seen all his movies. Well, I haven't seen all his movies. I haven't seen Andromeda Strain and some of the other ones, but I can't wait to read more Michael Crichton. This was so good. I mean, easy 5-star for me. Easy 5-star. I did an actual Goodreads review. That's one of the things I struggle with, is writing a review, like writing out a review. So on Goodreads, a lot of times you'll see like my review be, man, this book was really good, or this book didn't quite do it for me. But with this one, I wrote a really good review on it. So if you want to check out my Goodreads, it's in the description. There was moments where it talked, computer jargon. We went into binary code. I mean, this is 100% up my alley. I had a blast reading this book. So much fun. Highly recommend it. Really good. Yeah, yeah, this is so much fun. So that is the reading challenge. Obviously, we have the much earlier version of me when I was reading Aliens Among Us, which is right here. Had a keyring on top of it. I didn't like Aliens Among Us, not one tiny little bit. I think it was manipulation, and I think she was trying to con people. I'm going to get rid of this book after this challenge. And Sphere was amazing. I loved it. I'm going to keep this book and hopefully reread it soon. So, thank you for doing the reading challenge. If you have done it, if you want to do it, and you just said, hey, your video was interesting. I'd love to do the I Want to Believe reading challenge. It is a first contact book and a paranormal detective story. Two books. Should have been pretty easy. The originator took 3 months to do it, so no hurry, no rush if you guys do jump into it. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.